The Star Wars Holiday Special is this wonderful comedic mess, but the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special is comedy gold. I'm John Barry, and welcome to my review of the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special. So, first of all, people are going to talk about how canon is the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special. Well, a lot of people have described the LEGO properties as a whole as canon adjacent, meaning they are a comedic reinterpretation of canon events. Just look at the LEGO Star Wars video games, and there's also a few other things like the Freemaker Adventures, which I think is the most canon of them all, just very much toned up for comedy's sake. So what you can say is that the overall, you can boil down the plot in such a way that that there is a canon element to it, but then, somebody decides to, let's make a comedic retelling of it kind of deal. You could think of it very much as, I had a good example in my mind, but it just slipped. But very much think of it as a comedic reinterpretation of canon events. And we actually have seen that done with specific things in the LEGO Star Wars universe. So what's clear? Life Day is definitely still a holiday in Star Wars. I think that's much. And this is probably the first time Chewbacca's been back on Kashyyyk since he helped liberate it, I'm guessing. So it's been a couple of years now. And he gets to reunite with his family, which I gotta say, they actually show his family and, of course, LEGO film. And I'm pretty much sure they use the exact same family members from the original holiday special. So there's that. But they clearly are making the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special clearly made it more Christmas inspired than the previous one. I think that is very much clear, and all that. But that kind of stuff is comedy. They've obviously are using that. I have a feeling in canon, the Life Day celebrations are probably not as close to Christmas as the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special has shown. But I can easily see, there are specific decorations, and there's this, meat that, I forget what they called it, but there's this meat that you eat, and kind of like, either a Christmas ham or a Christmas turkey, or if you do something else. But the idea of my family, for many, we've started having ham, turkey, and beef. So everyone has something slightly different for meat, and I have a thing in the Star Wars universe, it's very much the same on Life Day, especially if it's celebrated by more than just Wookiees, which is, I think, very much implied to be, minus the Christmas overtones that make it relatable to us. But it's very much, and we get some return of some other characters and all that, but that's kind of side story, the B plot, if you will. The A plot has to do with Rey and training Finn to be a Jedi, which I think is very much something that she will be doing after, that she is or will be doing after the Rise of Skywalker. It's pretty much set up to be so. But she feels like she hasn't been able to, she's failing to train Finn. Not that Finn's failing, but that she's failing to train him. And she finds in one of the books, that she took from the tree on Ahch-To, like, oh, there's this key that allows me to see the past. Now, is that canon? I don't know, but she and BB-8 takes Luke's old X-Wing, and they go to a planet, and they find the key, and time travel shenanigans ensue. But this is what I think is a good way of looking at probably the actual canonicity of those events. One, there's this planet, I forget the name, but has a connection between the world between worlds, and so Rey probably did see events. The experiencing of the events probably did not happen. But there's this kind of third plot involving Palpatine. That is a close, and we know Palpatine was also trying to access the world between worlds. So this is my theory. Yeah, she's observing previous Jedi Masters and Jedi apprentices train to learn how to train Finn. That's, I think, what she does with the world between worlds, has access on this planet. but this planet also has the ability to physically enter into their worlds and interact with them. So what I think happens is she accidentally does open up a portal to the Death, maybe not the Death Star 2, but to a place where Palpatine, as it probably will be, where Palpatine and Vader are at, and they get sucked in. Because we know Palpatine knows about the war between worlds. So that's but all the other shenanigans I don't think actually happens. But I do think eventually, crossing with Kylo Ren and a long Luke. I think that stuff does happen, and they all get back somehow to the Death Star 2 through the war between worlds. But everything I think is set back without influencing the timeline, right? 1. Rayzale. And in future Luke, it could be all complicated and all that, but from the time travel shenanigans we do see, it does not, even if someone's pulled out of the timeline, the timeline is not affected, Ray's timeline is not affected by it at all. Which I think is somewhat interesting. It really is. It's more the Marvel time travel approach than anything else. So, I think this opens up the possibility of a Star Wars multiverse. I actually did a video about that way back. So, or is it up there? But check that old video of mine out if you are so interested. I'm thinking what this key is yes, it accesses the world between worlds, but just not worlds in the planetary sense, but worlds as in a multiverse. Very much know how Marvel and DC talk about worlds in that kind of sense. That, I think, is what this key accesses. Not just a world between worlds, but a world between universes. Star Wars universes, of course. Which technically would be in the Marvel universe. No, seriously. So when you think about that, technically, Iron Man and Luke Skywalker could interact because they both have been published by Marvel Comics. That would be one ambitious crossover, which actually I would not mind seeing. That would be very interesting. I don't think they'll do that, because of different properties franchises, but theoretically they could do that at least for fun in the comic. But that's sidetracking from the review of the holiday special. As I said, the holiday special is the Lego Star Wars holiday special is a comedic reinterpretation of these events. And I think it opens up the possibility for a multiverse in Star Wars. We have the quote-unquote canon Prime Universe, then we have the bunch of Legends universes, as I discussed in my original video on multiverses, and the Lego one, which is established to be parallel to, which we could say is a parallel universe to the main universe, and very much so a parallel. That's what I think is actually happening. Now, a few other things. The animation in this is great, however, Lego feet, you can't see my feet, but Lego feet, there are supposed to be holes in them so they can stick to Lego. I'm just saying. If you use Lego, make them look like Lego. And they do, but no, everything, including the holes in the Lego, I want that. I also wished that the arms don't bend. Lego arms don't bend. They're very robotic. I understand why they do it. It's to make the animation better, but at that point, you might as well just be making actual animation, like from Star Wars Rebels, Resistance, or Clone Wars. It's not what Lego does. Lego does not behave that way, and as such, you should treat your animation like you would stop-motion Lego. The Lego movie did this. Older Lego Star Wars specials did this. I wish the newer stuff also did this. That's more of a complaint I have with the animation. I can understand wanting wider range of movements, but I just don't like that, the main part of Lego is its fun, it's its ability to build, and you do get some of that, but when you start having the elbows bend, I'm like, no, don't do that, please. It destroys the fun of the Lego. Now, I can understand maybe the Lego arms popping out of the socket to go like this, I don't mind that. It's actually kind of unique. I can understand that, but when you start bending parts of Lego that should not be bent, that kind of bugs me. And also, like, you know, when they're like laying at an unusual angle, feel free to rotate the pants piece around. I don't care if it's a weird one. I just got these things like Lego is a certain shape, behaves a certain way, animated that way. It makes it much more fun, unique. Otherwise, you might as well just be animating, you know, these characters more realistically. That's why I got, or less like Lego. Because if you're going to not treat Lego like Lego, what's the point of making the Lego stuff? That's kind of what I got to say there. But overall, I did enjoy it. It's comedy. Is it going to be for everyone? Definitely not, but it is comedy. And this is a good way of looking at canonicity of Lego. You can all Lego Star Wars specials. You can always like, yeah, you can see how this is inspired by canon events, but basically, don't assume anything is canon until it's confirmed by a non-Lego Star Wars source. So, is it confirmed in a comic, in a book, in a TV show, in a movie? Then you can conclude that those events are canon. But until otherwise, they're just canon adjacent. They might be canon, they might not be. Think of it like Schrodinger's cat, if you will. Until you know for sure, until you look, you don't know what it actually is. But that's where I'm going to end this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comment section, what did you think of the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special? I would love to hear from you. Also, if you haven't, check out the links in the description. Please do so. There's my Facebook and my Twitter, my Patreon, and my Discord server. Go check that stuff out. I also have set up a Utreon channel as a backup for YouTube. So give me a follow there if you are so interested. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, please do so. And consider checking out either the video or the playlist on screen now. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.